Hello, hello, and welcome to our very first Besties Banter. Gold stars and the power of inner wisdom. So, Diana and I are really excited to be here with you. We're going to be doing this Besties Banter show every 2 weeks. And just quickly, a little bit about me. My name is Sherrie Cameron. I'm a transformational life coach and a soul event planner. And so we've been great friends for many years and excited to be here to share a little bit with you. So, Di, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Diana, and I am under Out Amongst the Stars Astrology. You always got to add the astrology in there. And yeah, I've been studying astrology as part of as a tool through all kinds of different teachers and different ways using the elements, but also uh, it's a little bit traditional and tropical Western astrology, and also adding the modern influences and some archetypal influence as well. And that aligned with my empowerment coaching that I did was very emotionally based. So I like to help people align themselves, and the astrology charts can tell us so much about ourselves. So
So
that's
true.
basically what I do. Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about that right before this session.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
given me some of her astrology wisdom in some of the stuff that I'm moving through right now. So we hope to bring that for you as you guys listen to us as we move along. So, in talking about that, we want to take a moment to just share a little bit about, well, why are we here? Like, why did we decide to do this? And so, Di, you want to share a little bit about why you wanted to partner together and do these besties banter sessions?
Yeah, well, I think it's just be fun because you and I, Sherry, we're never short of words ever.
Yeah.
And as we grew up, we were not in this world, and of course, we're from the same, generation, the same age, and we both happen to be born at a time where we have these Pisces North nodes. So we've gone on this spiritual path separately, but at the
Hmm.
same time in different ways, but at the same time together. So every time we would come
Hmm.
together, we would be talking about the same thing in different language. And so we just decided, oh, we got to record some of this and each bring in our own, um, you know, essence of
Our
what
gifts
we've
and
been learning, and yeah, and our gifts, and to help others, because I mean, Lord knows we were so um, brought up in a different environment and also very confused, I would say, when we were younger. And I've been able to guide like my young daughter, and I just feel like she's so much more evolved than I was at that age, and working through so much more from a level of personal development and spiritually to be more clear. I mean, we always have growth patterns, we go through that as part of being human, but I feel like we can bring some wisdom with now what we've all been through story, and you and
Mhm.
I can both have some stories always to tell. So that's
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we've got many stories, some of which are
yeah.
probably appropriate for this show.
Yeah, yes, I'm not so much, but
Others that
that's
are,
fine.
that will
Yeah,
be really helpful. Let's say that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I wanted to partner with Diana in doing this. I think I'll start with sharing. So I just actually have been working on what my personal philosophy is. And I've crafted this personal philosophy that I want to share, which is find and embrace your inspired essence, dare to express it fully so you can uplift or we can uplift humanity together. So for me, I'm really, really excited and get super pumped and inspired about this whole concept of really stepping into, who it is that we truly are, coming from our true essence, coming from that place of truth. And, I believe that when we share that in the world, like we support others and give others the invitation to do the same, and that really changes the world. And
Yeah.
so I love, like you already mentioned, Diana, that we come from the same place, but from different lenses and different angles. And we've been best friends, you guys, for 49 years, like
Mhm.
50 years. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. I know we don't look that old, but yes, we
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, but it's like I think again, we come from these different lenses, but really kind of from the same place too. And really that deep desire to support people in stepping more fully into who they are. And I know you bring a different lens than I do, but together we really feel that we have some magic to share.
yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so, and I didn't mention, my company name is The Pathway to More. So I just wanted to make mention of that. And it was all about those people who are, maybe going through life, doing all those things, and have that sense and that feeling that there's something more, right? They're longing for something more. They're not sure what it is. They're not sure how to step into that. They're not sure maybe who they are and how to really embrace that more fully and really come from their authentic truth. And so um, I know we
So true.
both are interested in that space as well. So Di,
Mhm.
I know you have a slide to share, don't you? A little bit fun.
I do. And I was gonna say, often, um, often that are well, where is my slide? My slide should be right up here, and it is.
Yeah, you gotta love tech for that. It's like, okay, I opened it up before the show
Yeah,
and now it's
usually it's
here.
yeah, usually it's right here.
Come back to me.
Yeah, come back to me. There it is, I think. Yeah, so everyone can see that. Yes, there we are. So here we are, grade one. Yeah, toothless
Yeah.
wonder there, sure. Yeah, and then through the teenage years, so just a tad bit of rockers we were.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, like, I mean, that was the whole thing. Like, we always shared the love of music, always
Mhm.
loved, and it went through all like different phases. And I mean, you're so versatile in the genres that you love as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, we went through the phases of the 80s music and the
Yeah.
rock music and the country music and all those things.
Yeah.
And and then of course Sherry's married to a musician, songwriter, producer, and so we go to the festivals, and this is us at we'd meet up at the festival because we had you know weren't able to connect personally at too many things, raising the kids and stuff. So there we are, enjoying our music. And then
Yeah.
this
Hey, you know
that's
what? Speaking of
true.
music, I can remember Diana used to have when we were kids, I'd go over to her house and she had this really great stereo her parents had in the living room. And we would wait for them to go out and go do something. And we would crank that stereo so loud. And that she had a balcony that would go up the stairs and it would overlook the living room.
The living
Little
room,
did
yeah.
our parents know we would jump off this balcony
uh,
listening to loud music and getting all hyped up. And we jump off this balcony, which was quite a ways up there, right?
oh yeah, no.
And land
You totally ruined
on
the
the couch.
couch.
I'll probably destroy that couch, and your parents had.
Totally destroyed the couch,
Anyways, fun
yeah.
fact.
Yeah. And then like here we are at about this age. And that was just when we moved into that house. But
Yeah,
I remember in the basement and I had the disco ball.
yeah. We
Then
would go
we'd have the
roller
birthday party
skating.
with the music and get all the boys and the girls would all line up and then partner and do this disco ball in the dark room and
Yeah.
dance.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I remember.
Anyway, pretty funny. That was pretty funny. So anyway, this is a just a little flash of us back in the day. But yeah, I don't know if you want me to go into any of the astrology transits that we're dealing with quite yet,
Hmm.
or um, what we've been dealing with up till now. The reason we are doing this is to talk a little bit about the general energies as well, and we'll share our personal stories. But I had this um, presentation that I put together for Sherrie's summit,
Yeah,
and Sherrie does amazing jobs at putting together summits. So if
thanks.
you ever get invited to a summit or need a summit, that is your girl. And oh, the speakers just incredible. They were just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They're always
so
fun.
yeah, so I put together this great big slide, which was way too much information for a summit, but we could go look at what we've all been dealing with here. I'm thinking everyone's feeling it. I don't know, Sherrie, you've been feeling like all the shift and change and nothing solid. And it's like, oh, I should be doing this, but like I'm being called. And it's like all of a sudden then I'm like, I don't even know what to be
Yeah,
doing.
we
And
were
that was,
just talking about this before we came on. So lots going on.
yeah, there's just, and so I just want everyone to be aware that like we are in such a massive change in our totally collective energy. So we all have charts and they're very specific to us, and the way those the planets move around this, in transit, and the way they hit our charts can all be different. So sometimes there's, people talking in astrology language talking about, oh, this big transit, and you're like, well, that didn't happen for me, but it's because of the way that it might hit your own planets. It might not hit it at all, or it might be big time. And so when these really slow moving planets move into different areas, it's a really big shift in our world. And so we've had not just one of those, we've been in back to back several. And, I'm sure everyone remembers what happened in 2020 and 2021. And we had some of these big planets coming together that really changed the entire trajectory of how we were living. And it was kind of on purpose for a timeout. It could have manifested anyway, but a timeout for us to all kind of take a look at the big picture. Well, now we've moved out of that energy and we're moving forward, and we're all getting such an upgrade with what's going on. And but it wasn't happening through the winter. We had Pluto, uh, our planet of the littlest planet, but it moves the slowest. It actually shifted fully into Aquarius, which it was in Capricorn, and Capricorn's about structure and big business and big corporate and hierarchy and
Oh,
power over. Pluto moving into Aquarius. Aquarius is grassroots up. It's
oh,
collaborative. It's humanity. It's everybody working in their unique individual ways for what it is that you're being called to, in a collaborative effort, though, so we each and all bring our own uniqueness. So that's right aligned with, of course, what we want
totally.
to talk about.
Like, are you
And
guys, I'm curious, like, I mean, obviously we can't engage feedback right now, but I just want you to just put a period on that for a moment and ask people out there, are you feeling that? Because I know I certainly am, and lots of the people that I'm talking to, like they're saying this, they are feeling that shift, that what used to be, and coming from that place of structure and all of that that you talk about, that's shifting.
yeah,
And that can
yeah, we
feel,
were.
sorry,
Oh,
that
sorry.
can feel really I think scary sometimes too, right? Like we know, I feel like
Absolutely.
I know that it's time for shift, but it can also feel sort of like, whoa, like where are we going here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I mean, especially where we grew up, you're just taught to, climb that mountain. That's what you do. And you
Sure.
stay
Yeah.
with it or stay with the company, and you build, and then to retirement. And then like all of that belief and patterning that we had growing up with, it's all getting completely Plutoed. And Pluto likes to, it's like burns things to the ground to rebuild in a better way, basically. It's the death and rebirth. And like key word for Pluto is transformation. So everyone is feeling some transformation. And boy, I've seen, some that you thought would, like they thought that they would just stay with their corporate thing, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't do
I
this
can't.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, no, like it's just not, I just, my soul can't do it, my body can't do it. And we're getting, all that, of course, the emotions connected to the physicality in our bodies, and we're getting, signs and symbols that we're to be moving. Yeah.
Well, and here too, I want to again add to this, Diana, what you're saying. Like, I don't know anything here. I'm just going to say straight up about the stars and astrology and any of that, but what I do know is people and what's happening with them and stuff. And I just want to say that, you know, um, if you're feeling like you're moving through a lot right now, or if you feel like you're on this shaky ground right now, like what I love about what you're sharing, Diana, is that it's like, A, you're not alone, and B, um, it's not you. Like you and I
Yeah.
just had that conversation before we came on with some of the stuff I was going through. And I was like, sometimes you just feel like, and I don't remember exactly what you said to me, but some form of, well, of course, like you're exactly living out.
Yeah, it's this transit that, yeah, we're kind of under right now,
Yeah.
which is
And so don't take that personally. Like it's like there's nothing
right.
wrong with you. This is part of your beautiful our beautiful transformation at this
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah. And of course, you come from more of the spiritual realm, and being able to connect to the other side a little bit, in the soul based, um, as far as, I can give it some context with the astrology, with the symbolism of the planets. And I think, like, that people they're going through kind of an ascension. Like, everyone collectively is feeling something is we're all opening up to more of our senses. We're all opening up to
100%.
different things.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, if
part of
you
that
know
is this
anything
transit
about
too.
Mayan calendar at all, like our level of consciousness is shifting so rapidly now. So
Yes.
again, like you're saying in the past, it's like, okay, we had felt like we had our footing, whether we were transforming or not at that time. And sort of, I guess I'm going to call it, being in that old paradigm, but that old paradigm was, familiar. But now it's like this consciousness is shifting and changing,
No,
moving so
it's
rapidly that of course we're going to feel sort of like, oh
out
wow,
of sorts.
opening another door, opening another layer, right?
Yeah, no, everyone's going to feel so out of sorts. And so Pluto went, like I said, fully into Aquarius in November, and it's retrograde now. But the thing is, it's not going to retrograde um, back into Capricorn at all. It did that for a couple of years. That's why it was like, oh, boom, we're in AI, and then all of a sudden, it went back, and that was like a total Pluto into Aquarius energy that happened. And but now what's happened, in like, we had all these personal planet retrogrades over the winter, and it was hard time getting things started. But what the big thing was, now then, this other outer planet, Neptune, which takes 14 years to go through a sign. And by the way, Pluto's 15 to 30. So this particular transit is, with Pluto and Aquarius, is a 20-year period. So we're in this
Wow.
till 2044. And then the Neptune is 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are huge, like, and they are what determine our generational energies, for people, when you're born with these energies. But we had this Neptune moving to the very beginning of the zodiac with the, with at 0 degrees Aries. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. And so it started with the sun entering there, and then Neptune hit that 0 degree mark on March 30th. And then Saturn, who is the one who wants to make things a reality. Neptune's ethereal, and it's, our visions and our imagination, and it can be very delusional and illusional and sort of send you into that fogginess. Where Saturn is the concrete, the reality. It's the last planet in the sky that we can see with our visible eye. And that's,
Hmm.
in the old days, that's all they thought it's the only ones we could see, until they started getting better telescopes and that kind of thing,
Hmm.
and discovering these newer planets. And so that, that's where they differentiate between the traditional or ancient astrology and modern astrology, because we didn't have all these other planets like Neptune. But Saturn brings in the reality, the boundaries, the borders, the discipline that we need. It's the lesson. Wherever your Saturn is, it's the lesson, and it's very significant. At 29, we all go through a Saturn return, and that's that. They take you into maturity. It's, you know, the Chronos, and the one that is the keeper of time, and, you know, keeps you in check in our real world. So you got like ethereal and reality coming together. It's like, what are we trying to crystallize, or what's getting shifted? That's, you know, getting the limitations put on it. But it's more like a, you know, courageous, compassionate sort of energy that's going to help us bring some new realities. And so we had Neptune go in there at 0 degrees, then Saturn followed at the end of May. Now, what happens is that they get really close in this month of July.
Ah,
And then they go retrograde again, because they just do every, and it's them appearing to go backwards. They don't actually go backwards, but then they go backwards, looking backwards for a little bit, and then they come right together on February 20th, 2026.
interesting.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so we are in this, like, what's your dream? What's your vision? How are you trying to bring it into reality? What's getting dissolved? Like, let it go. Because there are things that it's just gonna, all you thought was the thing, like last year, and all of a sudden it's like, it's just
Yeah,
dissolving, and it's
isn't
not
that?
working, it's not aligned,
Yeah,
and it's
feeling it.
bringing in something new. Yeah.
I'm feeling it totally in the
Yeah.
midst of a lot of that. Hmm.
So there we had Pluto, we had Neptune, we have Saturn, and then we also have Jupiter, which that one's not as long. It's only 1 year, but it's still an outer planet that moved into Cancer, which it loves being in Cancer. It was just in Gemini. And that one was so tough because Gemini's duality already, and then you bring Jupiter in there, and it was information, and it was sort of like everything was like, I don't know. So I got caught up in it where I couldn't like land a plan. I had so much information coming through and give people all this information that was so over the top with Jupiter, expansive Jupiter, like that. It was like, what, too much. And
Yeah.
in Cancer, it
Okay,
loves
I thought
being
that
there.
was menopause, but maybe astrology
It
has.
was, yeah, it was that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we're going to actually, instead of Jupiter being in there, now as of July 7th, we have Uranus going into Gemini. And it's been in this fixed Taurus energy. So wherever
Okay.
Taurus lands
What's
in your
that doing?
chart, and I think you felt that, like it lands in your, you know, first house. For me, it's in my fourth. And this has been since 2018. And for me, it's like I moved out of my house like randomly because you know, my daughter went to school, and then I had, you know, a cousin living with me, and she wanted to rent it, and then we moved back, and then I had like, it hit my Saturn and windows cracking in my house, foundational things, because
Wow.
Uranus will blow things up. It's like the lightning bolt that shakes things up, and you can have breakthroughs and breakdowns and break aparts, and it's a very electric energy too. So yeah, it's now, and then all of a sudden things have been shifting at home with, you know, between my daughter and I and what I'm doing. And now Uranus is almost in Gemini, and Gemini is back and forth, and you know, it's that, it, Uranus likes being in there more. It's considered sometimes the higher octave of Mercury, which Mercury rules Gemini, and the information is going to really speed up. And I know for me, I just did something so totally random that's going to make me on the move
Mm.
after, which, you know, right at the end of Uranus and Taurus, of that fixed thing, I just blew something totally up that's going to make me
Right.
on the move, right? It was so weird, like it just came together so
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are, yeah, those are our transits. So it's there July 7th to November 7th. It retrogrades back, and then next year it'll go fully into Uranus. But as of this week, we are now with all these outer planets, fully with these outer planets, given this new energy of air and fire, which is way faster than what we were in with water and earth. a little
Okay.
test drive here through the summer into the
So
fall.
like things are going to be moving faster?
Oh, moving like lightning speed. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And
So
it's
like
actually,
projects or things coming to fruition
yeah,
or
information. And with
information?
Uranus, it's kind of otherworldly. We're going to maybe see some technologies that are going to blow people's minds, like in some ways of like
Wow.
where
Like
you
AI
live.
hasn't already,
It,
but
yeah, and but even
more of
yeah,
it.
tenfold off planet stuff maybe coming into the awareness a lot more, and
Interesting.
technologies, and yeah, just a lot of, a lot of information and new information. And so yeah, be aware of like if you got some sort of even downloads happening that you're like, where did that come from? Like write it down, because it can come in and be gone, like
I
write it.
just experienced that. I know better. And something came in the other night and I was like, get up, write it down. And
Yeah,
and then the next day I was like, oh, there's something about this. What was it? Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and or trying to find the record button on your phone or
Yeah.
something to speak it. Yeah, no, for sure. So that's kind of what's been going on in the astrology, with all these outer planets. So you weren't going crazy in the winter when everything was trying to move, and we had personal, like not these planets, but the personal ones all in retrograde. And we had some eclipses happening. Of course, we
Yeah.
always get eclipses, but so we were just in such a, we got to go back, rework things until this energy moves, and it started to move super fast here, May into June, and now with this last one in July. Um,
Okay.
However, July is going to be tough because it's just we have so many long void of course moons that is, and then we have a retrograde Mercury again, which I think is best we just all go on vacation.
Oh, really? And what was tell us a little bit about the moons. You were talking about that.
Yeah, so usually like the moon will go void because it hits a planet. It will hit a planet on its way from one sign to another, because the moon moves every 2.5 days. And as it's going from one sign into another, it'll hit a planet and then go into the new sign and hit another planet. If it doesn't, if it doesn't have another interaction with another planet, it's sort of floating. And I've noticed, I never knew anything about this prior to following, astrology and the moons, but like starting things, sometimes just you can't get there.
Mm,
It's more of a time where you're supposed to just rest, relax. The moon isn't working, neither kind of should you be. And you can just get into a real floaty zone where you just can't get things started. So initiating any projects or initiating something new is not really ideal during a void of course moon. And so it often just doesn't land properly. So,
mm,
like
interesting.
us chit chatting here is like just a nice kind of feeling. So, I think, for that kind of thing, it's all right. But, um, I sometimes will cook. It's
Mm,
just best to do more self nurturing, nurturing kind of things. And, and, and let yourself just chill rather than trying to push. So we
yeah.
have, right now we're in a void of course actually for like a long duration, like 38 hours. That's like a day and a half, over a day and a half. And when on this July 7th here, when Uranus moves into Gemini, we have another one for 35 hours. And then and then it literally, like, it moves into and that's because the moon was in Sagittarius, and it goes void, and then it moves into Capricorn and it goes void for another 20 hours, and then it moves then from there into Aquarius and void for another 27 hours. So like those
Wow.
are really
Re-
really long. And if you're
Long.
wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking at my almanac here. This is called an astrology almanac from
Oh, wow.
honeycomb.co, and
The
it's so
Bible.
cool.
Is that
It's a
like
Bible. It gives you all your own personal transits, as
hmm
well as the actual mundane sort of, the collective transits, and so much more information. so great if you start to take things to another level.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's kind of what we got going on with that. So these, and I noticed some even longer void moons happening, you know, as we go along into July too. So I think we just have to allow through this summer months, and as we collectively get used to these new energies in air fire, and it's going to feel fast, but maybe hard to really pinpoint exactly where we're going, and probably be easier in the fall. But we'll have eclipses then, and the eclipses can really change. They
Yeah,
make.
well, and it's interesting too, this, I would say, dichotomy of what you're explaining, like everything moving fast and not in this space to necessarily be executing and starting. Um, so,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
interesting.
planning's good. Executing too much might be a little challenging for sure. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. Well, okay, so we plan to do this every 2 weeks, coming at you. And we'll see. I don't know if you have a plan yet, Diana, for our next one, but we'll see. I'm kind of feeling like we'll go with in the moment what feels like needs to be shared.
yeah. And we'll I'm going to, let's see here, if I can get this to, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll kind of look at, this is an astrology chart, and we can kind of look at what's happening. And this kind of gives a nice visual, because I had the slides up talking about it, but this will give us a visual of what's happening. So as I
Ooh, that'll
mentioned,
be fun.
Uranus,
Yeah.
yeah, on
Is that
let me
mine?
see.
No.
No, no, this one's not yours. This one
Okay.
is the actual planets in the sky right now.
Okay. Okay.
And so on July, let's see, if we go back to the 5th, you see Uranus is at 29 degrees and 55 minutes. There's like almost right ready to change into Gemini. You can see it there, and you can see how the Neptune and the Saturn are almost together, and how Jupiter is like only at 5 degrees of Cancer. It moves a little quicker than the others, of course. But and then our Pluto here is right now in retrograde, but like I said, it's going to stay in this Aquarius. So it's in here now for till 2044, and it goes retrograde about half the year every year. So it kind of just takes its sweet time cruising along back and forth every year. So it just, this gives a nice visual. But the red is the fire element, the fast,
Okay.
the cardinal, like the well, we have the different modalities of of fixed and cardinal and mutable in the
Mhm.
fire. And yeah, we have the greens are the earth element, and the blue we have as the air element, and then we have the water element. And so we're moving with these energies into more fire and air. So that makes things, and air, of course, is the communication and the back and forth and all of our thought processes, and you know things that uh, help us communicate, speaking, writing, all of that. So all
And
of
the
that
fire is
is going to move. And the witch, sorry,
fire is more.
yeah, the fire is the creative energy. The
Ah,
fire, yeah. And if you have fire, lots of fire in your chart, like moving your body, staying active is very important. Yeah. Where when you got lots of air, it's important to communicate and speak and get that you know writing done, or things, talk things out, that kind of thing. And earth is all are very tangible, they are practical, and everything's very logical. And the water's very intuitive and flowing, and people feel things in deep
mm.
ways in the
I know I got
body.
some of that in me.
Yeah, yeah, and letting those emotions get moved, either through movement, through sometimes you do have to cry, sometimes you do have to somatically work with your body to move them, because you don't want them to stay in your body. So
Yeah.
there's me bringing in some of
That's
my,
why I like to cry.
yeah. Yeah, and
Emotion.
yeah,
It needs meant to move. The emotions are meant to.
yeah. The emotions are meant to move. Yeah, and I know for me, I'm so heady, I'm so airy that I have to get myself grounded into the earth because I don't I cry at sappy things, but not as much. But not as much need to cry. Just like my daughter will say, I just need to cry. I need to watch a sad movie and cry. And yeah, it's all working with your own individual elements too.
I quiet commercials, y'all. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's
It's a
funny because
strange week if I haven't cried at some point in time in the week.
yeah, that's good though because you have to move it, right? We can't
Mhm.
hang on to all of that emotionally charged things because that's where the stuff starts to happen, where your body
Mhm.
then starts to physically have the ailments if you're hanging on to it too much. Yeah, so very, very important. So hopefully, in all those respects, we can help everybody, recognize, oh, that's what's going on, or maybe,
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Well, and again, from my perspective and from the seat and the view that I'm sitting from, I really feel, I just intuitively
yeah,
know that we are all being called right now
yeah,
to understand ourselves more, to show up more authentically, to, like, you talked about as we entered, at the beginning of the call, think we're moving away. I mean, that astrologically, I know it
yeah,
intuitively. We're
yes,
being called to move away from some of that. Well, hey, because this is how you're supposed to do it, right? It's like, wait a minute, no, we're supposed to do it, in an authentic and meaning do life, in an authentic way that feels aligned for us. And again, I think we're both really jazzed about supporting that and help
yeah.
people step more fully into that. Would you
And so this is what's interesting about energy is that um, you don't know anything about astrology, and you just spoke the exact words and archetypally that is exactly that, like all the Pluto and Aquarius moving, you just
right?
spoke it because you intuitively know. So that's what's really cool is that you can work with your higher realm to bring in, what are they trying to tell us to help us move along through this. And I can explain it in my airy heady way of and using the symbolism of astrology, but you can bring in all of that flowing, energy of the intuition and
Which is why we're partnering together, because we
yeah,
both are bringing, um, our. I think we're both bringing some great value for people here.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
And
We'll
yeah, we get to have fun.
yeah. And Sherry might break out in song every so often. I might have to.
You never know what's gonna
You never
happen.
know. Yeah, you never know.
I
Might be
like
a few.
to keep it, the element of surprise.
Yeah, few jokes cracked here and there. Maybe
Yeah, exactly.
our best to keep it totally appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, so Di, you have anything else you want to share before we close out our very first Besties Banter session?
Yeah, no, if you want to follow along with me, I'm out amongst the stars astrology, and I of course am not initiating anything new right now, but I do take readings. I have everything on my link tree, which is always connected to all, like everything on Instagram and YouTube, and I can absolutely help anybody personally through um, that kind of thing for their own personal transits if they want to book a reading. And maybe in the fall, I might start to do more, you know, uh, group things too. And so, yeah, just connect that way and connect with Sherrie. You go ahead and give them all your details. Pathway to more, the
Yeah.
pathway, and it's important you put the in front
Yeah, it
because
is the
I
pathway tomorrow, and you can
yes,
find me on Facebook and Instagram and my website, thepathwaytomore.com, and YouTube and all the things. And yeah, I'm excited about where we're going to go, where we're going to journey. And, even for me, I just want to leave us with, I believe in one of my quotes that I kind of just came to me in the download was inspired people inspire people and inspired people change the world. And so, my invitation to everyone is to take advantage of, reading, connect with Di, because I think that's going to help you to step more into your inspired self. As you can probably tell through this, you have a huge wealth of knowledge and care, and your own inspiration to support people in that way. And you have so much value to offer. So,
Aw, thank
yay!
you. Thank you. You too, my darling friend. Oh man. Yeah, so inspiring. I've been saying that for years. I'm like, Sherrie, you're so inspiring.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. And can maybe, yeah, keep some of my air all grounded. And that's why we got to do this. Because if I just, yeah, find it so much, I get so much joy because I'm a Gemini sun out of that back and forth in the conversation. It connects with your Gemini moon. So we can, chat back and forth rather than just blah, blah, blah on the screen. So I hope
Yeah,
you all can,
yeah,
get
definitely.
some value out of some
Absolutely.
of the stories we'll tell as well, and some of the information that comes through from both of
Yeah,
us. Hmm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm sure we can dive.
Oh, yeah, right. And you do some other things. Do you want to talk about that? That you could bring in, like with your records.
Oh yeah, yeah. I also do Akashic readings, and so really tapping into, for me, well, probably for everyone it's similar. For me, it really feels like almost mediumship. I really just tap into whatever wants to arrive. So it could be guides, it could be ascended masters, it could be messages that come through, it could be feelings, it could be all kinds of different stuff. So I'm having so much fun doing those. And so if that feels like something that you feel called to or drawn to, I'm happy to support in that way as well.
Yeah, yeah, super cool. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us today, and we will be back. We're going to plan for every couple of weeks, Tuesdays, and we'll connect then. And
With session 2 of Besties Banter, Soul Stars and the Power of Inner Wisdom.
yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Cher, for connecting, and everyone for being here. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.